What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We have professional boxer, 17-3 professional boxer Ryan Bourland joining the show. He won the Golden Gloves in California, competed in the National Junior Olympics. And Ryan, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited, and thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you began boxing at a young age. You began at 11 years old, and you faced some challenges, growing up into adulthood. Just talk about how did boxing serve as both an outlet for you and a source of discipline throughout your youth?
Well, I grew up in a pretty tough city. Getting in lots of fights, and boxing. It kept me in the gym and kept me busy and from getting in trouble, and it was real good for me. There was a couple years in my life, like 18, 19, and 20, that I kind of got away from boxing and ended up getting arrested and going to jail for a couple years and ended up going to rehab. And there's a long story about it, but I ended up getting back in the boxing gym around 21, and never got in trouble since. My coach, I think I got like 1-2 amateur fights, and then they turned me back. They turned me straight to pro, and that was when it all started. My pro career started, and it just kept me out of trouble since. So, when I get away from boxing, I start getting in trouble. There's like a pattern there. So it definitely saved me and kept me focused. You gotta be healthy and go to bed and wake up and train. So
it's great to have a purpose, great to have goals in mind, and boxing will definitely give you that discipline. And when did you win the Golden Gloves?
Man, I was like 15 or something. It was probably 20 years ago when I fought in that. I really don't I remember it was at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. I remember like the Junior Olympics, the Golden Gloves, the Silver Gloves, all the tournaments I was fighting when I was a kid. There wasn't ever much guys my weight. I fought at like 165 when I was younger. Almost the same weight I do now. So I guess you could say, well, I was lucky because I never really had to fight many guys. There wasn't really kids that was 14, 15 fighting at 165. So the Golden Gloves, I think I was like 15 when I fought in that.
You started your pro career at going 14-1. You took your first career loss, actually second career loss, pardon me, in February of 2018. It was a debatable decision against Jose Hernandez, who was 18-3 at the time. So that was in February of 2018. And then in October of 2018, you got the rematch, you got your revenge, and then that's when you stepped away from the sport. Was it like that moment for you where you got your redemption against a tough opponent? Was that kind of like this is the perfect time to hop out? I got a good record, I got my revenge. Was it just kind of that timing why you stepped away from the sport, or did you not really want to walk away?
Yeah, I was just getting older, man. I was living in like a room at my brother's house. I wasn't really making any money. I've been fucking fighting for pretty much my whole life, basically. And, I just, looking in my future, wanted to buy a house and buy, stuff. And, I heard of working on the oil rigs, you can make a lot of money. You don't need no education, nothing. They hiring guys right now. You can make all this money. So I jumped on it, and I think it was a good move, man. I ended up getting the big fight that everybody dreams of. I saved all those years of punishment because God knows I've been punishing, boxing my whole life. So everything worked out great, man. I got, I've worked hard in the oil field for the last 7 years. I got a beautiful house, a beautiful wife. You know, it all worked out. And I still go to the gym, man. I still get offers and have to sometimes, you know, I might take another one, dude. You know, I stay in shape just because I'll probably be in the gym, you know, as long as I can. But that is just the move that I made.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you have your health right now, which is a wonderful thing. Not every boxer gets to say that. So yeah, you got your health, you got a 17-3 pro record, you got the big fight opportunity, but you got out of a sport that's very dangerous, and you didn't choose an easy career path. Hopping in the oil field. Just talk about which one is more taxing on the body and which one's more difficult, working in the oil rigs or boxing?
Man, you know what? That's a good question. You must know a little bit about the oil field then, because it is tough, man. It's dangerous. It's very, very labor intensive. You work a crazy, crazy amount of hours. You know, it's tough, man. Yeah, it's hard to say which one's more taxing, because they're both pretty taxing, but it pays a lot of money, so you know. But yeah, you know, you can move up and get in positions. I'm in a position right now to where I don't work as hard as I was, but I'm still out there in the weather conditions. I still work hard most days, but you know, eventually I'll move to another position, and they do get easier. And so, you know, I'll move up and get in an easier position. But when you're starting out for the first few years, it's a young man's job for sure. It's really hard.
Hey, you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues and work your way up. Talk about, I imagine while you were boxing, you probably had other jobs. Talk about managing your time and energy between boxing and working regular jobs on top of that.
Yeah, so I did. I worked for my uncle pretty much the whole time since I was like 18. He owns a pretty big construction company, so I worked for him in the day, and then I'd go to the boxing gym at night, and that's what I did for a long time, from pretty much all my 20s until I was 30, and I came out here. I worked for my uncle doing construction during the day, and then you know, I went to the boxing gym at night, and when I had a fight coming up, he'd give me like 2 days off before the fight, you know, so I could rest a little bit and get ready for my fight and rest up. And that's what I did for a long time. So that's what a lot of, you know, most people have to do, you know, unless they get lucky or they got some money behind them somehow. Yeah, so they come out of the Olympics and they got signed or something, or somehow they got parents or somebody with some money. But besides that, you know, you gotta, because when you first turn pro, you're not making any money, so you gotta have a job, and so it's pretty tough, but it's just what some of us choose, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's not an easy life. And then, yeah, you stepped away from boxing in October of 2018, and you returned in September of 22. Talk about how that happened. How did that come up? Why'd you return in September of 2022?
Man, so I moved to North Dakota to start working in the oil field, and then, like I told you, there was a boxing gym that opened up in this town, so I started going there a little bit, just, you know, because I've been boxing forever. Boxing gym opened up, so I'm gonna go there and work out a little bit. And then there's a local promoter around here that ends up throwing a fight, and they hear that, you know, they look me up, and they want to, you know, put me on the card. And then at that time, I've been living here for a few years, so we got, you know, we got friends and out here now. We got a lot of friends and stuff, and they have all heard about my boxing career, but none of them had ever seen me fight. And I was just, I was like, man, I'm just itching for another one. You know, it's been a long time, and all my friends up here now know and see me fight. I was like, I'm gonna hop on this card and just kind of just get another fight because none of my friends up here ever see me fight, and I like fighting, so we trained for it, and they got me an opponent, and yeah, we fought at Four Bears, a couple hours away from where I stay now at this casino, and I think we stopped them in like the 5th round. So yeah,
you got the job done. And if you didn't come out of retirement in September of 2022, you probably wouldn't have had the big fight come March of 2024. And I have to ask just a few questions about that. How did that fight come about, and when did they reach out to you for it?
So,
and obviously, for people who don't know, Ryan fought Jake Paul in March of 2024.
Yeah. So I reached out on Instagram to their manager or promoter manager, and I was like, man, I'm ready. Look me up. Let's go. And then that's all it took, man. He seen my message,
really?
And yeah, he seen my message, and we started going back and forth it was like 2 or 3 weeks before they sent me a contract, and then they ended up sending me a contract, and I never even thought it would have probably happened, and
yeah,
I wasn't in anywhere near the shape I should have been, but we got the fight, and I got a fight on that big stage that I always wanted to fight in. It didn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out, but that's how it goes sometimes, I guess. But
you stepped up to the plate, though. You stepped up to the plate after years of being out of the ring and ring rust, so that took stones in its own right. But so you reached out on Instagram. Was it to like Jake Paul's manager, Nakisa?
Yeah,
Badarian? Is that who you reached out to?
Yeah, it was Nakisa, and he ended up seeing my message and messaging me back, and that's how it all started.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
good for
know,
you.
right?
That's wild. Do you know when you reached out to him? Like how you fought in March of 2024? Like when did you reach out to him, and like when did you know you had the fight? And you're like, oh shit, I gotta start training for the biggest moment of my career.
Yeah, it was like I think it was in January. It was about January, I think. And because I remember seeing Jake Paul on, what Box Trek is?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep. So I remember seeing that he had something coming up, but there was no opponent. It's just shot in the air, I guess, and shot the message, and they got back to me, and yeah. So yeah, without no manager, just some guy working on the oil rigs in North Dakota, man. Without no big managers or big team, or just me, little old me, dude, and we made it happen. So
yeah, that's tough. So you reach out in January, you're like, oh, yeah, this is probably never gonna happen, but I might as well shoot my shot. And then you're like, oh shit, I got to fight this guy who's been super active for years now, in his prime. Yeah. I've been out of the ring for this long. I got 2 months to prepare. That must have been a lot. That must have been a lot.
It was a lot. I called my boss, and I'm like, dude, I'm fighting Jake Paul, dude. I need some time off work. I got to train. And they're like, dude, take the time off. And it wasn't much time at all, but, so I think I had like 6 weeks, and we took off work for 6 weeks and started training, and my coach flew out here, and he lived with us, and we flew some sparring partners out here, and we trained, as hard as we could. So,
bro, I mean, maybe this is bad to say, but if I were you, I would have been taking some PEDs if I only had 6 weeks to train.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They test for you in the pros, and the last thing you want to do is get there and get tested, and then you can't even fight and get paid. So
no, I get it, but like that's to me. What was your mentality heading into the fight, and like how were you feeling confidence wise?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of excuses that I could come up with, but um, you know, I lost. I'm not gonna make no. I'm not gonna say. I don't know. It is, it is what it is. So, um, I've actually been staying in
But were
pretty
you
good shape
confident
since
heading into
then.
the fight, though?
What's that?
Were you feeling confident heading into the fight?
Yeah, I think I'm better than him. Even right now, even though he beat me, I think I'm better than him. If I just if he was to fight me like at my weight, I think I could beat him. At his weight, I think that's where the disadvantage for me comes in. Even if I'm in shape or if I'm not in shape, no matter what, I think at his weight is where I get the disadvantage. But I think at my weight, I could get him. But it is what it is. So.
Okay, and then just what are your thoughts on well, Jake Paul after fighting him? What do you think about him as a person, for starters, and your interactions with him?
People ask me that, and I didn't really interact with him much at the press conferences and stuff like that. He seemed kind of like he does on social media, like a dick or whatever. And then after the fight, I went to his locker room and I was like, congrats or whatever, and he seemed cool, but we only exchanged a few words, and that was it. So I guess he seemed kind of cool, decent after the fight, but I didn't really interact with him much, so
Sure.
so I don't really know. Yeah.
How good do you think he is?
Man, it's hard to say, cause I think this fight he's got coming up is gonna you're gonna be able to tell, even though Chavez Jr. is way past his prime
Yeah.
and been out the game almost like me. What I mean, I haven't been in the gym and past my prime and all that, but I think Chavez Jr. is right now, he's a solid cruiserweight, and he can, I'm sure he can still fight. So I think we'll be able to tell a little bit more after this fight, after we see him, because I don't know. We all watched the Tyson fight, but it's hard to, I know it's Tyson, but
That was a weird one.
yeah, it's kind of hard to judge off of that. So I think after this one, might be able to see something. So.
All right, and we'll a few more questions, then we'll pivot back to you. I'm just curious, like, because you were in the ring with him. If you could, let's do this on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll give you a few attributes. You rate him from 1 to 10. What was his speed on a scale of 1 to 10?
Shit, man, I don't know his speed.
Were you impressed with his speed?
I remember there was a jab he threw that was kind of quick, but I don't, besides that, one thing I'd say maybe like a 7 or an 8.
Okay, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, his power.
His power, I'm not really sure. The fight didn't really go that long, and that's another excuse I had, is how the fight ended. But maybe a 7 or an 8 also. So.
All right, and then the last one, I'll just say his skill. Well, what do you think of his skill? His feints, his jabs, his setups. Based off it was a shorter fight, but based off what you saw, what would you give that out of 10?
Probably like a 7 or an 8. It's all probably 7 or an 8, I'd say.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. And yeah, that's another point is like I don't know why the ref felt the need to stop it because you kept fighting back. Like he hit you with a solid hook. It tagged you a bit, but you didn't just go into the ball. You did start swinging back, and you were moving your head. It could have been a knockdown, but I don't know why he
Yeah,
felt the need to stop the fight.
there was like 20 seconds left on the bell. I went to my knee. That's another excuse, but it is what it is. I take it on the chin and
Exactly. You got your health. You probably got a nice paycheck. So now that's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah,
yeah.
I hear where you're coming from. And then, okay, last question about Jake's skill. I'm gonna just say, and hopefully it doesn't offend you. Is he the best opponent you faced?
Mm, the- uh, I don't think so. I had some tough fights, man, when I was coming up, and I don't know. I'm rooting for him though, so he
That's
beat
cool.
me, and that's why I told him in the locker room. I said, I'm gonna root for you, man. I'm hoping you make it to the top, and then he told me he's gonna root for me too or whatever. But so
Cool. Well,
yeah.
we'll pivot off of Jake Paul. So the next question I got for you is just talk about. I believe you're shifting your focus now to being like an ultra marathon runner, a mountain bike racer, triathlon competitor. Talk about your goals and that, and what attracted you to these brutal distance events. Because first you're a boxer, then you're working in oil rigs, and now you're doing triathlons. Like you're not picking anything easy for yourself. What attracted
Yeah.
you to these brutal workouts
Yeah,
and goals?
I'm just trying to stay active and healthy, man. I'm moving to North Dakota. We also got big into hunting. Me and my wife, we came from California, never hunted a day in our life. We come out here and everyone's big hunters. My friends are teaching us how to hunt the last couple years. Um, so 2 years ago, me and my wife each shot a moose. Last year we got a nice
Oh,
deer.
damn.
Um, So being in shape for that, and where I was going with that is how healthy it is, to get your meat, harvest your meat yourself and stuff. But yeah, the ultra marathons, I actually got a pretty brutal one coming up in about 2 months. I'm training for right now, um, and I'm actually been dabbling in some jujitsu, and that was why actually
Oh,
if we
cool.
could push the time a little bit farther, and it actually worked out. Man, I just got back from it, and so doing a little bit of jujitsu, and yeah, we got a mountain bike ride in the morning and a mountain bike race in I think October, and just I don't know. I like the endurance stuff. Um, running far, mountain biking far, the swimming, triathlons. That's just some people enjoy baseball for that, and then that's kind of like what I enjoy is the long endurance things, long endurance sports. So that's just kind of the things I enjoy.
Yeah. And hey, honestly, and I remember this before your fight with Jake. It was you had a call with Nate Diaz. Honestly, all the things you're doing, it sounds like you should be a part of the Diaz crew with the triathlons, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Uh, how did that call come about?
man. So I had a buddy back home, and he was it's one of my best friends. He was actually at the gym with Nate Diaz, and I think he had said, "Yo, my buddy's fighting Jake Paul or something," and Nate Diaz just got done fighting him. So they FaceTime me, and my coach actually knows Nate Diaz real well. So we just talked on FaceTime for a minute. My coach said what's up to him, and he told me to good luck or whatever, handle business, and it was just a
Sure.
quick little FaceTime. So
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then with boxing moving forward, are you open to the right matchup if you were to ever come back? Or would you be open to a comeback if there was a good matchup for you that made sense
yeah,
financially in the ring?
Yeah, we're actually talking with somebody. I'm in a lot better shape than I was. And yeah, we might have maybe have another one. So
Well, that's exciting stuff, and yeah, that's probably knowing you're in better shape now is probably like, okay, I want to show the world what I'm capable of doing. I imagine that's kind of how you feel.
yeah, 100%.
Sure. And then I mean, two names that everyone's floated, and I'm sure you've been asked this before. Andre August, everyone's floated that name. I'm sure. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I've seen it on the internet, man. Been
I have two.
tagging hundreds of posts, and man, I'm down. I know I could beat him, and we're boxers. We're not nobody's scared of nobody or whatever. And I I think everybody knows I'm down to fight him. I have made some comments about it on the post before, and I've seen seen things where he said he didn't really want to fight, but I don't know if it's true or if
Sure.
I don't really know, but I'd be
Yeah.
down for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Just
had that the guy that I fought before Jake Paul was also one of his opponents, so we fought the same guy, so um
who did
yeah,
better?
and,
Hey,
huh?
who did? Was it a knockout? I mean, do you know what
Yeah,
his result
so
was versus your result?
I knocked the dude out, and I feel like he barely won. So I
Sure.
mean, there's that, but might be a little biased, but um,
It makes
so
sense because you guys are the same age. Like he's just I think a few months younger than you, and then obviously you both fought Jake, and then you got a mutual opponent. I feel like that'll be a fun fight for Jake to throw on his undercard. Like I feel like people would totally. I think people would actually be really fired up to see that fight. I could see that fight being like big, or if Misfits Boxing like took that on. But I feel like a lot of people would love to see that fight for sure. Um,
yeah,
so that'd be fun. And then the other one I saw was you uh you were in talks with Le'Veon Bell to fight. Just talk about that for a second. I
yeah,
mean,
I was excited for that, man. I thought it was gonna happen. I really thought that was gonna happen. I think it was close, unless I was out of the loop somehow, but. I mean, I must have been, I guess, because it didn't happen. But I was excited for that one, um, and it didn't happen, so it's too bad. But yeah, that would have been a cool one.
that would have been really cool because he obviously is a freak athlete being an NFL running back, and he's a big boy. So like size
Yeah,
wise, that goes to him. So and he's got freakish athleticism because he was a running back in the NFL. But then got you're a 17-3 pro boxer. You're a seasoned pro like that. That would intrigue the fans a ton. Like just kind of a raw freak athlete versus a skilled seasoned boxer. That one would have been great too. So I think both those fights would have been a lot of fun to see with you. But
yeah.
yeah, I had two more questions for you before I let you go. One is just talk about some of the biggest lessons you've learned in the sport of boxing.
Ah, man, the biggest lessons. Man, just work hard, work hard, and believe in yourself, and pretty much work hard. I think is what I've always lived by. Work hard.
Yes, sir. Yeah, discipline for sure. And what's the proudest moment you've had in your boxing career? What memory do you look back at just the most fondly from your career?
Man, I had a lot of good moments. I was a pretty big name back home. Um, I had a little gym at one time, and when I won like the belt that I won, and coming back to the gym and showing all like the students and all the kids the belt that I won, and you know coaching them and training them, I feel like they looked up to me a lot. I think that was probably a pretty proud moment. And just just I guess when you win, you know, you win a belt, you win a big fight, and you come home to your family, and you know, it's a good feeling. You come back to your hometown, and you know, you could tell everybody, you know, everybody knows you won. So I had a lot of good moments in my career. So
Good deal. And actually, I just thought of one more question off the top of my head. Me personally, not like I have any pull, but I kind of been trying to get the ball rolling for Tommy Morrison's son, Kenzie. I would love to see him fight Jake Paul. What would be your advice to Kenzie to lock down that fight? Just shoot Nakisa a DM?
Yeah, I mean that's unless he's got some manager or somebody that's got you know, some phone numbers or something. But yeah, I'm not. Does he have like a record and everything?
He's 20-1. He's the son of Tommy Morrison. You remember Tommy Morrison, the heavyweight from the
Yeah,
90s,
yeah.
Rocky 5. He looks just like him.
Okay.
I mean, he's 6'4".
I think I've seen him fight actually now.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, but I don't think it's an impossible fight for Jake either. That's why I think it makes sense.
Yeah, if he's got a good record, I think. Yeah, I think Jake Paul's gonna try to start going towards a belt here after this one. So if he had like a belt, that would definitely put him in a position to fight him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, maybe if he had a belt, or I mean, he's got a good rate. If he's 20-1, then he's got a chance, man. So yeah, reach out to the team, and he's got a huge team. So
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's interesting. Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Ryan. Had a lot of fun chopping it up with you. The last round I got for you is a rapid fire round, so I'll just give you a plethora of quick questions. Just answer in a timely fashion. You ready to roll?
sure, let's go.
Okay. Your favorite music genre?
Country,
Let's go. MJ or LeBron?
MJ,
What's your favorite thing to do in the summertime in North Dakota?
workout,
Dogs or cats?
dogs,
Your favorite animal?
dog,
Good answer. Favorite boxer to watch right now?
shit. Andre Ward,
Okay. What's your favorite cheat day meal?
oh damn, man, I got a lot. Ice cream, chips, pizza. I don't know.
All good answers. Your favorite lift in the gym?
Man, I don't really lift much, but maybe squats, I guess.
Okay. What's your favorite TV show?
Damn, right now probably Landman.
Okay. And then, speaking of pizza, what's your go-to pizza topping?
Man, I know a lot of people probably got something to say about this, but probably pineapple.
Pineapple. Okay.
And,
I respect it. I respect the honesty. A few more. Favorite food?
Favorite food? Man, these are tough questions. Man, barbecue probably.
Okay. And then, what's your favorite holiday?
Probably Christmas. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite sport outside of boxing?
Endurance endurance running.
Sure. And then the last two, favorite movie?
Oh, probably dang, what's the name of it? Gladiator. That's what it is. Gladiator.
Okay. The last one, what's your favorite city that you've been to?
Oh, Anaconda in Montana.
All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ryan Bourland. Ryan, thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to staying connected moving forward.
Sweet. Thanks for having me, man. It was a good time. I appreciate it.